Richie, we will look ahead to the FA Cup shortly, but a reflection first on the Christmas New Year period for you, which was a very good one.
Yeah, it was. 4 clean sheets. We talked before the Forest Green game, I think it was, about could we get 10 points from 4 games, however it came. Obviously, you know, the importance of not getting beat at Bolton was a big thing, because if you don't get beat by teams round about you, then you're not losing ground. So, and obviously we've come away with those 10 points, no goals conceded. So, and considering in 2 of the games, the Cambridge game and the Accrington game, we got a day's less rest than the team we were playing against, because of obviously our schedule getting moved around. So, so it probably went as well as it could do, really.
I find it interesting that you started with the 4 clean sheets. Is that because that's where it all starts from?
Probably, really, because I like talking about defending. And yeah, it does. Look, if you can put clean sheets together, then you know you're not losing games. And then you know if you for our first half a dozen games, there weren't many clean sheets in it. So that's something that we've talked about, worked on, not just as a defending group, but higher up the pitch, about how we're going to get the ball back, how we're going to be more organised. But if you are going to be successful, you have to put runs of clean sheets together. So, and it breeds confidence as well. So, so yeah, it's something that I like, but it's something that everyone's pretty proud of at the minute.
And it's maybe something that we wouldn't expect from you as a former striker, former goal scorer, but defending is the focus for you.
Yeah, I think it probably started 8-9 years ago when I first became an assistant, and I was working with Carl Robinson at MK Dons, and he sort of said to me, look mate, I want you to concentrate on everything that doesn't include being in possession. So I started studying defending more, started working with defenders more. Obviously, previously as a manager, you end up working with the whole group, but and it's something that I just took a genuine interest in, really, and continue to keep studying it. And obviously as a striker, you have a fair understanding of what strikers don't want to do. So, you know, I reiterate that back to the defenders with some of the work that we do. But yeah, it's something that's important if you're going to be successful.
I did want to ask about one of the strikers in particular. Didsey, 8 goals in 6 at home, 6 in his last 8 games overall. He was match winner in the last round, of course, at Newport as well. How many strikers have you come across like David McGoldrick?
Not many, really, because the goals speak for themselves, obviously, over the last few weeks, and he's in a great run of form. But I would say that's massively secondary in terms of what he brings, in terms of his ability to regain the ball, retain the ball. He sees passes that nobody else sees. You can clearly see, you know, it's not difficult to recognise the fact he's played at a far higher level. So. And he's always sort of one step ahead of everybody else, really. He just sees things that other people don't see. So, you know, as a group, we're obviously very lucky to have him. And like I said, the goals, look, as a 9, you get judged on goals. And unfortunately, some people don't quite measure up in terms of the numbers. But I think he's one of the players that, had he not weighed in with goals, you look at his all-round play and what he brings. And there's an argument to say he's not an out-and-out 9, really, as well. So for him to play as a 9 sort of on his own a little bit the other day was something different that we've asked him to do, but obviously took to it very well.
And someone else to ask about, he played a part in getting to this stage of the competition, is Will Asula, who's gone back to Sheffield United.
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed to lose Will, but he was Sheffield United's player, and we knew that. And you know, unfortunately, when you take players on loan, and they have clauses at Christmas that they can take the player back, then you're always susceptible to that. So it was something that we've got a really good relationship with Paul Eckenbottom and Jack Lester at Sheffield United. So we've been in constant communication. So you know, hopefully he's enjoyed his time. Hopefully he will be fondly remembered at the football club. But more importantly, hopefully he's learnt something and he'll go back a better player, and Sheffield United will recognise him as a better player and a better person in terms of, you know, what it takes to be a regular first team player. So, but yeah, I think did he get player of the round or something for the first round? So he's obviously played a part in getting us where we are. and obviously will be a miss, but we sort of had a fair idea it might be coming, so we'll just have to put plans in place to replace him.
Let's focus on Sunday. You've played in the FA Cup, you scored in the FA Cup, you've managed in the FA Cup, been part of coaching staffs as well, of course. What does the competition sort of mean to you these days?
Well, I think, bizarrely, the older you are, the more important it is. I don't like saying this, but I think it's, with younger people, it's probably lost a little bit of the magic of it, really. And, you know, the old joke of the magic of the FA Cup. You know, I remember when probably, arguably, it was one of only 2 live games on TV, the FA Cup final. It was the FA Cup final, the League Cup final, and you couldn't wait for that to come on because it was live football, it was the whole build-up. And obviously over the last, whatever it is, 20 years or so, you've got the invention now of the Champions League, which has more regular football. The Premier League is on, you know, nearly every night. And unfortunately now, the qualifications for things like the Champions League or staying in the Premier League looks like it's almost sort of leapfrogged the importance of the FA Cup, really, but it's still a trophy and it's still something that you should be, you know, really, it's the oldest cup competition in the world and probably one of the most famous. So I still think it just should send out those sort of exciting vibes to fans, to players. And it's just something a little bit different, and it gives you an opportunity to play against someone. I mean, unfortunate for us, not with all due respect to Barnsley, we're playing against a team who were in our league, but you know, over the last few years, we've had the, you know, misfortune, if you like, to go to the Etihad and get beat 7-0 by Man City, but it gives you an opportunity to do something that you might not normally get, and whether that is you know, a really long cup run, or whether it's playing against a Premier League team or playing at a stadium you might never get an opportunity for, and I think that's what creates the excitement. You
mentioned that it's Barnsley. It's the only all-League One tie of the third round. They're a team that are also fighting for a playoff place. You play them again, I think, in 6 weeks. Does that affect how you set up and approach this game? Maybe not wanting to show your hand too much?
I mean, I think if we were playing them the week after, which unbelievably happens quite a lot. People get drawn in a cup game and they've either played them the week before or they're playing them the week after. I think with us playing them in 6 or 7 weeks' time, the window's open, so there's possibilities of us bringing people in, them bringing people in. It's not that much of an issue, and obviously they played, or the 2 teams played each other before we came, so it's not something we've experienced yet. But no, we want to win the game. We're going to go in with the mentality we want to keep this run going. You know, what will happen in 6 weeks' time is, you know, something that will take care of itself, really.